Show you now some of the tools that you will need. Of course, you'll need a hammer, something to mark your specifications with, a tape measure, a drill is handy, or you can use a screwdriver with the Phillips head. You also need some type of saw, preferably a skill saw. And then for our product, we're going to use this 1x3. I'm using the 8-foot long boards. You can use 6 foot as well. And then we're using pegboards. This is a 4x4 pegboard that we will be cutting. And then a square is also very useful in making your markings so that you can have everything accurate. You can also use some wood screws, as you see here. And I've already started on the first part of this, but the steps are repetitive, so I'm going to walk you through how we build and measure now. So the first thing that we've done is that we have taken this 4x4 pegboard, and I have already cut it to 3.5 by 3 feet. You can see here we are exactly at 3.5 feet, and if we go across here, we are exactly at 3 feet. So we have a 3 foot by 3.5 foot pegboard. Now I've taken my 1x3 and I've already cut it to the length that we need. We're going to position this on the vertical side. And so the way that I like to do this is I like to mark my boards. So I'm going to take my pencil here and I'm going to say that this is the right side vertical. And then the other side obviously will be the left side vertical. We're going to position these right around the edge of the pegboard, and we're going to build a frame here, here, and across the left side vertical. The next thing I'll do is cut my left side vertical, place it over here. Then I'm going to cut my top and bottom boards, which will fit inside these vertical boards. Now that we've gotten my right vertical board cut, I'm going to go over here and grab a new board. We're going to take this new board and we are going to mark it for the other side, for our right side vertical. And all we're going to do here, folks, is we're going to use the pegboard that we've already cut, position it flush on the top side, and then we're going to make our mark on the bottom side. I'm going to take my square and I'm going to go ahead and mark my position right here. I'm going to mark the other side just for accuracy. And then we're going to go ahead and make a cut on this. All right, now that we've made our cut, we're going to go ahead and position it here. And as you can see, it is flush with the top and bottom of the pegboard. We're going to stand these up on both sides here. And as we stand these up, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to measure our top and bottom boards which fit on the inside of the frame. So in order to do that, we position it just inside the frame here. Want to give yourself an extra 1/16 or 32nd of an inch just so that it can fit snug. And then we're going to make our mark right here. As you can see, we have a vertical mark here. I'm going to go ahead with my square and make this mark. And we're going to go ahead and cut here. Alright, so we put our right side vertical. Typically I've written our right side vertical, I'm sorry, over here. We're gonna write left vertical over here. We're gonna place it on the outside of the pegboard, and this is our bottom. We write that on there just so we can know. You want to put it on the outside so that when you paint, it will not be a problem on the inside where the jewelry will be displayed. So we're going to place it just like this, and now we're going to do the top side the same way, and then we'll come back and we will put our wood screws in order to shore up our frame. And we're going to cut our 1x3 to make the top side. I'll go ahead and mark this the top side of our frame, and we will position it at the edge here, inside again of the vertical boards, and then we'll make our mark. We need to make sure that our board is flush with the edge of the pegboard, and it is now. Make our mark here. These things happen, folks, when you're doing it by yourself, and so sometimes you need to be careful. Put our right vertical board back in place. I'm going to walk around the camera for just a second, pick up the other board, which is our top. We're going to place it just inside like this. Now, these things are ready, and what we're going to do now is we're going to use some, you can use 1.5, 1 3/4 inch wooden screws that we're going to tie up the frame with now. It's always handy to have you a good wireless drill. A corded drill works just as well. And if you don't have that, you can always use a manual Phillips screwdriver. I'm going to go ahead and position my board here. You want to make sure that you just start the screw very easily. Make sure the corners are flush. Then we'll put our bottom screw. I typically put 2 screws in, one at the top and one at the bottom. Again, make sure it's flush at the bottom. All right. And now we'll go ahead and do the other side. Same process. 2 screws inside of your frame. 1 screw at the top of the outside board, 1 at the bottom. You want to put it about, I'd say, about a ½ an inch from the corner of the board, just so you can have it centered. Make sure we're flush. And then we'll put our bottom screw in. Now that we've got those 2 screws in, we can give ourselves a little more room here. And we're going to put our outside in using the same screws. Make sure your boards are flush again. You can see that we're flush here, and we'll put 2 more screws in on the last side. Now sometimes, folks, when you get your boards, there's going to be perhaps a bow or a bow, some people will pronounce, in the middle of the board. I wouldn't worry about that too much. Typically those things work themselves out as you put your frame together. But you do want to find boards as straight as possible when at all possible. Getting our frame flush now. And putting in the final screw of a frame. 3.5 by 3 feet. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to leave the frame here and we're going to move the pegboard. And as you can see, there are 2 sides to the pegboard. This is the finished side, and then this will be considered the unfinished side. The unfinished side obviously is going to be the back or the unseen portion of your pegboard. So we're going to flip the pegboard as such, where the unfinished side, is on the outside, and the finished side is on the inside. So our board would look like this. And I'm going to stand the frame up so you can see. And the frame will look like this once it has been attached, with the finished side of the pegboard here, so that they can use hooks to hang the displayed jewelry. All right, since we have to paint this, the customer wants the pegboard to be purple and the frame to be hot pink. So I'm not going to attach the frame to the pegboard at this time, but I will do so shortly. In the next part of this video, we will turn our attention to the painted products. All right, so now as you can see, we have our pegboard here, which I have already painted a purple, which is at the customer's request. And I apologize for the vehicles passing, but it is a nice, bright, sunny spring day here in Southeast Texas, in Houston, and everyone is out and about today. So as you can see again, the pegboard has been painted. We have one coat on it. We're going to put a second coat on it. Let me show you the product I'm using. I found this product to be very good. This is the Krylon Color Max. It is a paint and primer, as you can see, for indoor and outdoor use, and it's a gloss purple. So it gives you a really nice finish, and this has no runs, no drips, and no errors. Is what they profess to promote in this product. So perhaps Krylon will give me a shout for pushing their product. But this is a good product, folks. This is what I like to use. It does the job very well. And we're going to put a second coat on the pegboard in just a minute. And then I have another can that we'll use for the unfinished pegboard that you've already seen. Now we're going to turn our attention to the frame. As you can see, the frame is completed, just like our other one that we showed you. And we've put one coat of the hot pink on it. And I'm going to go ahead and show you the can of spray paint that we use for this paint. This again is the Krylon. It is Color Max. As you can see, it is a paint and a primer, and the actual color that we used is the Gloss Mambo Pink. All right, that's our paint for this frame. So you can see the frame here. We paint all sides of it. Then we're going to take our pegboard, which you've already seen. We're going to make sure that the painted side is inside of the frame, and we're going to attach it in the next part of our video. So we're going to paint now our unfinished frame. As you can see, it's laying here. I have a piece of plastic out so that we can protect the concrete, and we're going to go ahead using the Krylon Color Max paint and primer Gloss Mambo Pink. All right, well, we're going to take our time and spray this one coat right now. Preferably, I'm under the carport portion of my garage. You may want to move inside your garage if you're not comfortable with spray painting in the open, so that you don't lose much spray paint or get any on the surrounding areas. First thing you do want to do is you want to shake the paint. You want to make sure that your paint is mixed well. You shake it really well, and then you begin to spray. Now what you want to make sure you do is you don't want to get too close, because you don't want to overdo your spraying initially. So I'm going to be about 6 inches away as I spray the first coat. So we're going very light with it. I'm going to come back again, get it on there. And as you can see, we have a pretty nice clear coat across the top. I'm going to spray the outside of it so that you can get a look at that as well. Make sure you spray evenly. And you'll see a few little black marks here in the wood, but we'll come back on our second coat and make sure that that is completely painted over. Again, just really light coat, about 6 inches away. Same thing with your outside. I just adjusted my plastic a little bit because it was covering a portion of the board. All right, we've got the outside done. Now we're gonna move to the inside. I like to spray my corners first, just to make sure that I can get those very neat. I'll step inside here, spray the inside of the corners, and then I will run my coat across. Every once in a while you want to shake your can just to make sure that your paint is coming out evenly. And the only thing that we will have now is the other bottom side of the frame, but we'll let this dry for a little bit. We'll do that, and again, we're using the Krylon Color Max. It's the paint and primer, gloss purple for indoor and outdoor use. Paint our pegboard, which you see here, and then we'll be ready to put our pegboard, attach it to our frame. Here we go. I like to start on my corners. We're not giving it too much initially, just enough so we can see the color on it. You can do this in any kind of variation that you like. This is just the way I do it. All right, folks, we're finishing up our first coat here. There are a few little spots that I see that I want to make sure that we spray in. All right, our paint is dry now, and we're going to go ahead and begin to assemble the display case. And so the pegboard you're looking at now, the unfinished side, the other side is painted, and you see the frame here. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble the pegboard to the frame now. We're going to make sure that our pegboard is flush with the ends of the frame, and they are. As you can see, this is the outside of the frame and display case. We're going to use a fastener, a metal fastener, in order to attach the pegboard to the frame. And around the edge of the frame is where we will put these. And I have 6 of them, 7 of them actually that I'm going to use, but I probably will use 6 of them. We're going to use some number 10 3/4 inch wooden screws to attach the pegboard to the frame. We want to ensure that we put our pegboard and our fastener at the edge of the frame. And this is for the sake of sturdiness. I'm going to go and grab a few of these out here. And now you will see that we have a very nice looking piece of our frame here. Overall, it looks pretty good. And this is what our product looks like. So you can see the whole thing. There you go. And then we will complete the second panel, and then we will attach the 2 of them. All right, folks, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take both of our panels, which are now complete, as you can see here, and we're going to attach them together there with a fastener here. So all right, so I'm using a 3.5 inch nickel plated hinge, as you can see right here, that we will attach the 2 display sides together with. And I have 2 of those. I'm going to put one at the top and one at the bottom. Make sure that your hinge can fit properly, so it needs to open all the way. So here you can see it needs to open all the way like this. If you have it the wrong way, like this, then it won't be able, it'll stop right here. So we want to put it like this. We're going to put it here, and then we will attach the other side. I'm going to go ahead and use these 1 inch nickel plated screws to attach this. I'm going to put it right here. We're going to do it about 3 inches from the top. All right. And then we'll get our middle screw in, and 1/2 of our hinge will be complete. All All right. Now, next thing we're going to do is we're going to attach it to the other side, other half of the display case. Here, we're going to put them together. All right, I've put one screw of the second half on just so it can be stable enough for you to see. We're going to put the second screw in here and the bottom screw in here. As you can see, there's about a 1/2 inch gap between the two sides where the middle of your hinge will rest. We'll do the same thing down at the bottom here. You have the hinge here is complete. You have the bottom hinge complete, and then we'll spin around and show you how it looks from the front. All right, now we've got the hinges in place. Let me zoom in so you can see that. That's the top hinge. And we move down and you see the bottom hinge. And let's zoom back out here. And you can see we have 1/2 of the display case and the other half of the display case. Now what we're going to do, folks, is we're going to put some handles on the top for easy carrying. So let me show you the nickel plated handles that we have. We have 2 of these nickel plated handles that we're going to use to attach to the top of the case. So in order to place our handles in the proper place, we're going to choose a location in the middle. And because our handles have self-tapping screws that go in here, we're going to have to mark it on the top of the frame and then use one of our small drill bits here in order to make a hole in the frame so that the self-tapping screw can go in. I'll go ahead and place that in my drill, get it positioned, lock it in place. All right, once we have that locked in place, we're going to go ahead and find our location, drill up so that the screw can go in. All right, in order to ensure that our holes are the right length apart here, we're going to measure from this hole to this hole, and then we will mark it accordingly on top of the frame. It looks like we have exactly 5 inches, if you can see here, between the holes. All right, we've got it flipped over, and as you can see, we have our hole here, and we're going to make another hole 5 inches from there. See that our holes do line up. We'll do the same thing on this side, folks. Now we have both our handles on, as you can see. And I guess the only thing that we have to do now is we're going to put a latch on the front so that the customer can lock the box when they need to. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and put our safety latch on. Right now we're using a safety hasp, 2.5-inch safety hasp. For those that may be interested in looking at it, I'm using the Gatehouse brand. It's a very good brand that I pick up at Lowe's. What our safety hasp looks like. It has the end here that fits in. We're going to attach that to the front of it so that she can use it to put a lock on it at any time. Then we'll put the other end of the hasp on. Obviously, we just want to match up our clasp here, and then we want to ensure that we have a good, clean, flush fix here. All right, we've got our clasp on here. It's a good safety harness. As you can see, it opens. If you close your display case, you can place the lock on here or anything that you'd like to secure it with. I'm going to zoom in for you so that you can see it clearly. All right. All right, the final piece of this that we're going to do is we're going to add some caster wheels to the bottom of the case for easier transport. At this point, I'm going to put 2 of them on. I have 4, as you can see, but I think I'm going to put 2. I'm going to put 1 on this side on the top, and then 1 on the back on the bottom half, and we'll see how that transports. And if we need to add 2 more, then we will. Measure, and we're going to put this, I think I'm going to do it 6 inches from the end. And so I'm going to make a mark here. All right, so let's take a look and see if 2 wheels will be enough or if we will need 4. All right, folks, we've put our rollers on, and on the last part of the video we had 2, but I went on ahead and put 2 more to give us 4 so that it could roll or transport properly and that it would be stable while it was stationary. So now you can see our completed project. We have handles on the top for transport. We have a frame around it. And we have our wheels at the bottom. So there you have it. That's our do-it-yourself or how-to video from the Dadcast podcast. And hey, the Dadcast podcast is a podcast that you can find on any streaming platform. We're at DadcastP on Facebook and Twitter, and at Dadcast Podcast on Instagram. You can also look at our website at dadcastpodcast.com. And we have our YouTube channel, Dadcast Podcast. And this video will be up on our YouTube channel. You will be able to go step by step in order to complete this project. Hopefully we'll have more projects up for you in the near future. Until then, thank you for watching.